Hi everybody, I'm the greatest living inventor, and today we are doing my invention, Antarctic sinking chamber lichen tunnels. So let me write it down. Antarctic sinking chamber lichen tunnels. Okay, so sorry, it's a long name. I got wrapped into the next line. So I'll take off my jacket and I'll explain. Okay, so first of the words, Antarctic is from Antarctica, the 7th continent. Sinking chamber is where you put gases, and over time, after a long time, the light gas comes up and the heavy gas comes down. And the lichen is, we talked about this in another invention. It's like cyanobacteria with it's an organism, a creature with two parts. Part is fungi and part is cyanobacteria. Okay, and the tunnels is a tunnel. Okay, like you drive through a tunnel in the mountain. Okay, so this is a solution to clean CO2 out of the atmosphere, and this solution is non-chemical and it's very low energy. Okay, so I'll just close the air conditioning because it's hot. Okay, so introduction. So again, I'm reading a solution to clean CO2, carbon dioxide, out of the atmosphere that is non-chemical and very low energy. Okay, introduction. All the existing solutions either involve problematic chemicals like sodium hydroxide or require a lot of energy. In parentheses, like for high heat or pushing through membrane, close parentheses. You can see these existing solutions here. Wikipedia direct air capture and Wikipedia carbon dioxide scrubber. Okay, so these are not good solutions, but you can see them here. Direct air capture and carbon dioxide scrubber. Okay, so these are bad. And this is good. Okay, and I will explain why now. Okay, the little electricity that is needed in my solution for opening and closing doors and pipes can be harvested from the strong winds which we use for most of the process. Okay, how does it work? My method uses the fact that different gases in the air have different density. So the heavier gases sink to the bottom and the lighter gases float to the top. we are talking about transparent gases, but imagine it like you know, I'm sure, in liquids of different density, different specific mass. Okay, so you can see in Wikipedia where when you write density, and also when you write in Wikipedia, I'll give you the link, Wikipedia density hashtag /media /file 2 dots, I don't remember how it's called, colon I think, artsy density column PNG. Okay, artsy density column. So basically it's like you have a tube and it's closed in the bottom. Okay, here it's closed, and in the tube you have all sorts of liquids, like some liquid here, and another liquid here, and another liquid here. Okay, and so on. So because they have different density, so they they separate. After a long time, they separate by themselves. Okay, like you put, I don't know, like water and oil, and they separate immediately. So this is the same, but after a long time, it's in gases also. Okay, so in everyday life, it's not like we lie on the floor and breathe CO2, and then we stand up and breathe oxygen, because the winds and heat, random movement of molecules, mix the air all the time. Okay, heat is a random movement of molecules, and also the air currents, the wind, even inside the closed room. If it's a closed room, you don't have wind, but you have, but because of the heat, the molecules are moving, so it mixes the air. So if it's cool and closed, then you have this. Okay. But if you have a place that is cold and closed for some time, then the heavier CO2, atomic mass 44, okay, CO2, atomic mass. So, okay, gas and atomic mass. So you have CO2 and it's 44. The atomic mass is 44 of CO2. And you have nitrogen. Let me write this on the bottom, because this is the heaviest of the three gases that we consider. Okay, so we have CO2, which is 44. We have oxygen, sorry, nitrogen, which is 14, and we have oxygen, which is 16. Okay? So so this will be on the bottom after a long time, the CO2, and above this the oxygen and the nitrogen. Okay, so they separate. Terminology. I couldn't find the exact name of this process, so I call it a sinking chamber. Okay, so you can see in Wikipedia, gravity separation, hashtag sinking chamber. Gravity separation, hashtag sinking chamber. Okay. So, and I'll give you the links to everything in the video description, as usual. Okay. So, if you make prepared chocolate milk and leave it for a while, okay, if you have a glass of chocolate milk, and okay, let's say this is the chocolate milk. After a while, you also get, and leave it for a while, you get sedimentation. Okay, sedimentation, like this. Sedimentation. Okay, like you have here another color, and here you have I don't know, like a different color. Okay, so it's like different layers in the chocolate milk. In commercial chocolate milk, they put in carrageenan to prevent this. Okay, so in commercial chocolate milk, you don't have this layering. This layering or stratification, okay, so layering or stratification okay, this is all the same thing, different words for the same phenomena. Sorry, this layering or stratification is also called separation. So you get the idea. So Wikipedia, chocolate milk. You can read it. Okay. So now the next stage, location, location, location. So I'm erasing this because I don't have room. Okay, so location, location, location. Right, this is from real estate. So now you understand why Antarctica is ideal. Okay. It's very cold, so the gas molecules will not move much, like we are in a big freezer. And we have two other clean building blocks there, lots of ice and wind, the strongest winds in the world. Okay, so next thing, tunnel vision. Okay, it's like a game on words. It's not really the phenomena tunnel vision. It's like my vision of how the tunnel will be. Okay, so I'm just drinking something. Okay, 17 minutes. Okay, sorry. So, tunnel vision. So what I need you to picture in your mind is a tunnel. The tunnel can be built in two ways. Either like a very long igloo. Okay, so like we have an igloo, and then okay, this is the snow, this is the igloo. So like imagine a very long igloo. Okay, something like this. And this is our tunnel in Antarctica, in the snow. Okay, so this is a tunnel. And so what I need you to picture in your mind is a tunnel. The tunnel can be built in two ways. Either like a very long igloo, like in Harbin Ice Festival. They carve blocks from ice and build. Okay, Harbin Ice Festival. Okay, I've been there. It's really pretty. And they carve blocks of ice from the river and build structures with it. Or it can be carved in the existing ice below our feet. Okay, so another option is if you have the ice level and you carve. Okay, and you have the ice level also here, and you carve and you connect this. Okay, I don't know how to draw this, but I guess like this. Okay, so if you see it from the side, it's something like this. Okay, this is a tunnel under the snow. You understand? We carved a tunnel down in the snow. Okay, I just don't know how to draw. Sorry. Or it can be carved in the existing ice below our feet. Okay, if this is the ice level, then this is where the tunnel is, or this is the ice level, and this is where the tunnel is above the ice, or we can combine them. In ancient times, people carved rock. So in modern times, we can carve ice, which is softer than rock. You can see here. So in Wikipedia, you can see, I will give you the link, Sephoris. Okay. In Israel, it's called Tzipori. It's about half an hour from here, from Haifa. It's near Nazareth and in the Galilee. And you have tunnels that collected water in ancient times, like in, I don't know, 2,000 years ago, something like this, in the rock. And this is in the ice, so it's much easier. Okay, in this picture, I'm giving you the picture of Sephoris. It's like, it's impressive. You should see it in Wikipedia. People walking inside such a tunnel of rock. Tunnel more like this, but with the roof. Okay, so you can also combine the two methods, dig half as deep, use the ice for blocks, and build the other half above. Okay, so something that is combined. It's like a pipe. Okay, and one half a pipe and then another half a pipe. From the same material that you carved here, you build the roof above. Okay, it's important for me to mention these very cheap and low-tech ways to make a tunnel, because when you say tunnel, people imagine burrowing through a rocky mountain with huge expensive machines, and here it's the opposite. Okay, now another stage of this solution, blowing in the wind. Okay, so now we are talking about the wind. So we start with a tunnel 1 kilometer long. Okay, this is 1 kilometer. Long, a few meters tall, and 1 meter wide. Okay, so from here to here, it's 1 meter, and from here to here, it's a few meters, let's say 10 meters. Okay, between 5 and 10 meters, let's say 7.5 meters. Okay. Okay, so and 1 meter wide, because we need it to be narrow, okay, like the column of the gases. The reason is that we need a column of air so that the heavier CO2 will sink to the bottom. Okay, after a long time the CO2 will be here in the bottom, all along, but like here. This will be the CO2. And the rest of the air, like the oxygen and nitrogen, would be above. Okay. It's important that the tunnel is along the direction of the strong winds in that spot. Okay, so if there is a wind, okay, let's draw this. Wind direction. Okay, strongest wind direction, and in Antarctica you have the strongest winds, so it's like in this direction. Okay, and we dig the tunnel, we choose where we want the tunnel, and we dig it along where the winds are the strongest usually. It's important that the tunnel is along the direction of the strong winds in that spot. Just like in your home, you know which direction each year the strongest winds come from. Since we decide what direction we make the tunnel, if we make it along the direction where it can be since we decide what direction we make the tunnel, so we make it along the direction where it can be ventilated by the wind. Okay, so this is gives us ventilation. Ventilation. So it's ventilated by the wind. Anytime we open the door in both ends of the tunnel, the wind pushes new air into the tunnel, which pushes the old air in the tunnel to the outside. Okay, so this is like the entrance. It's not for people, it's for the air. Okay, so I'm just drawing the people so you understand what is above the ground, what is below the ground. But air is coming in, okay, so it's like this is air, entrance, and this is air, exit. Okay, but there is a door, like a door for people, but door for air. Okay, so there is a door here, open and close, and there is a door here that open and close. And when both doors are open, the new air can come, and this pushes the existing air in the tunnel, the old air, outside. Okay. Okay, the new air is pushing the old air outside and replace it. Okay, because there is a strong wind. Okay, so it's all passive. It doesn't cost us anything. Okay, except opening the doors, which I said it can be electrical and can be harvested also from the wind. The little electricity that we need to open the door and close the door, and open the door and close the door. And they should be open together, and then it replaces all the air. The wind replaces the air. Okay, so again, since we decide what direction we make the tunnel, we make it along the direction where it can be ventilated by the wind. Anytime we open the doors in both ends of the tunnel simultaneously, the wind pushes new air into the tunnel, which pushes the old air in the tunnel to the outside. Okay, now, tunnel's basement trapdoor. I'm erasing this. Okay, so now remember the tunnel, and we are drawing it more specifically now with more details. Okay, so let's draw the tunnel like a tube, okay, because it's easier for me. So this is the entrance. And this is the exit. And I'm leaving room because there is another tunnel here, you will see. Okay? So, and here is a door, but I don't know how to draw the door. Okay, but there is a door. Okay, like this is a door. Okay? And this is, here is also a door. Okay. So tunnel, basement, trap door. Okay, you know what is a trapdoor? It's like when you have a floor and there is some, this is a door that can open, okay, and can stand like this. And then you can enter here, maybe there are stairs or something, okay, so this is a trapdoor. And sometimes it has a rope that you can tie to here a rope and operate it from above or from the side. Okay, rope. Okay, so I'm erasing this. Okay, so tunnels, basement, trapdoor. That was a big overview of the tunnel, okay, before. A big overview. The finer details are that each tunnel is made of two tunnels that are connected along the tunnel with holes. Let's say every 100 meters. Okay, remember this is 1 kilometer, 1,000 meters, and like there are 10 holes along the tunnel, and every 100 meters there is a hole. So there is two tunnels really. Okay, so let's draw them like in red and like in blue. Okay, like arteries in the body. They are not in the real colors, but just so you understand. So there is a tunnel here. Okay, this is like, let's call this oxygen tunnel. We can say O2, but I want it to be more clear. And let's say this is the CO2. Okay, tunnel. And between them there are holes. Okay, so there is a hole here. and there is a hole here. I'm drawing 3, but like there are 10 holes along the tunnel. Okay, and every hole is with a trap door. Okay, there is a trap door. They can open with a rope that we connect to the surface, and like if there is something here or some mechanism, it can pull the rope, and the rope opens the door, and then the hole is open. Okay, and if we close it, then the hole is closed. Okay, so this is basically what's happening. Okay, so that was a big overview of the tunnel. The final details are that each tunnel is made of 2 tunnels that are connected along the wire, along the tunnel, along the big tunnel. These 2 tunnels inside are connected along the big tunnel every 100 meters, just like in the street when you walk on the manhole cover, okay, like the sewer. Again, not new technology. They had this in ancient Rome, sewer manhole cover. It's really a door. This is a door separating the upper street from the lower sewerage channel below you. Okay, if you walk in the street and you walk on a cover of a manhole, you know that below you there are sewers. Here there is a street. So it's like this is the street, and this is the sewers, and these are the manhole covers. Okay? I drew this far away from each other so it's clear, but they are actually close. Okay, so it's just a hole and a door. There is no barrel. You don't need the barrels. This is just a round hole. Okay. So you can see in Wikipedia, manhole cover. Okay, so each one of these are like manhole cover. We can tie a rope. Okay, this is the rope. We can tie a rope to each door, which we can pull from the surface. The hole passes through a small hole in the ice ceiling of the tunnel, here, like a trap door. Okay, this is like a trap door. It can be like this or like this. It's closed or open. So we can let the trap door be open for a few days, so the CO2 sinks. And once the CO2 drained down to the basement, to here, we can close the trap doors. Okay, this and this and this. We open all of them. Then after a few days the CO2 sinks, and then we close them. And the CO2 is trapped in this tunnel, in the basement, or in the sewer. Okay, we can close the trapdoor, and so now the lower tunnel is full of CO2. Okay, so you can see in Wikipedia a trapdoor. Okay, now lichen wall forest. Lichen wall forest. Okay, so we know lichen from our building, okay, where we live. Thankfully, we don't have it here in my building, but in many buildings there are, from the outside, lichen on the walls. Okay, where there is humidity, and okay, so we know lichen from our building that grows on the walls. But it is also very important because it has cyanobacteria, which made all the oxygen on Earth in the first place. Okay, so lichen is really containing cyanobacteria. We also talked about lichen in one of my inventions in space, on Mars, remember? Making oxygen. So here it's the same, we are making oxygen. We are taking CO2 and we are making oxygen. But not in this tunnel, in the next tunnel. Let's call this tunnel 1. And the next tunnel will be tunnel 2. Will be here. Okay, so lichen wall forest. I told you about lichen on the building walls. Okay, the door at the end of the tunnel is actually 2 doors. Okay, so we are separating this into 2 doors. This door and this door. Okay, these are 2 different doors, separate doors. The door at the end of the tunnel is actually 2 doors. The upper tunnel opens to the outside, so we can throw the air without CO2, this air, the red tunnel, we can open this and throw this air outside to the atmosphere. Okay, so this is just open to the outside. Outside there. On the surface, but of course what there is on the surface, in the winds, it mixes with the atmosphere and becomes like a part of the whole Earth's atmosphere. Okay, what about this part, the CO2? So the lower CO2 opens the lower CO2 tunnel, the lower tunnel opens to another tunnel that we prepared where we have lots of lichen along very long walls. Okay, so here there is another tunnel. Okay, and it's connected, and just drawing it separately so you can see. And this is tunnel 2. And this is the lichen tunnel. Lichen forest. Okay, and here you have long walls. Okay, I cannot draw this clearly, but let's draw one wall. Okay, and on this wall there are lichen. Okay, I don't know what color they are, but I'll make them green and blue. Okay, so it's like lichen. Okay, and there are several walls like this, like one wall and another wall and another wall and so on, parallel to each other, all along the tunnel, which is also long. Okay, so I'm reading again. The lower tunnel opens to another tunnel that we prepared, where we have lots of lichen along very long walls. Lichen is very tough and it can survive Antarctica and even space. But it needs light in order to convert CO2 to O2. Okay, so we need to make this ceiling. It's not like the normal snow. Okay, it's not. This is normal snow. Like here you have normal snow. But this is not, because we need to make it transparent, the roof. So the roof is made from clear ice. Okay, let's draw it in light blue, in cyan. Okay, so the roof here is made from blocks of clear ice. Clear ice roof. Okay, because we need they need light. The lichen needs light from the sun in order to convert the CO2 into oxygen, into O2. Okay, so it needs light. It needs to be transparent. Okay, so this new tunnel is not like our previous tunnel, where we wanted an opaque ceiling, because otherwise the sun would heat and turbulent the air. Here, the lichen tunnel, we want transparent ceiling in order for the lichen to be able to photosynthesize CO2 into oxygen, into O2. Making clear ice is possible, and they do it in every restaurant. We just need to make the same thing on a larger scale, on a large scale. Okay, so wikihow.com, make clear ice. Okay, we're making clear ice, like in restaurants. I don't remember anymore, but I think it's the how fast you make the process. If you freeze it slowly, then it's clear. The bubbles have time to escape. But I don't remember. So in the lichen tunnel, we have like a radiator. Okay, if we look from the side on these parallel walls, this is like the tunnel, and this is like the walls. Okay, so this is like a radiator from the side. Okay, and it needs a lot of surface area, so it's the same reason for the radiator. The radiator needs to cool something down, the car, and this needs to ventilize give all the air to all the lichen, but it's similar. Okay, so you can see in Wikipedia radiator. So in the lichen tunnel we have like a radiator. Okay, a structure of thin walls to maximize the surface area, which for us means walls from ice blocks. But the walls the walls need to be along the direction of the tunnel, preferably long walls, so they don't block the flow of the gas through the tunnel. Okay, so it's not like walls like this, but walls along the tunnel. So now we close the lichen tunnel. Okay, so after we gave it the wind, we opened these doors to push, and also these doors. Okay, this also has doors to push. This can be the same door. Okay, it's like you can save one door. So we let the wind push the CO2 into the lichen tunnel, and push the old air, which is now clean, it's CO2, to the outside, and bring fresh CO2, okay, so that the lichen can work on the CO2, on the new CO2. Okay, so so now we close the lichen tunnel, and the lichen works on the CO2. Okay, so after we got fresh CO2, we close this tunnel and let the lichen work on this CO2, convert it into O2, into oxygen, and for a few days, and turn it into O2. Then when the next batch of CO2 arrives in, it pushes the already made O2 oxygen outside to the atmosphere. Okay, so here we have this is also like here to the outside. Okay, we only let it go to the CO2 after it becomes O2. Now it's like here, like the oxygen, and it goes outside. Okay, so now we close the lichen tunnel, and the lichen works on the CO2 for a few days and turn it into O2. Then when the next batch of CO2 arrives, it pushes this batch, pushes this to the outside, to the atmosphere, out from the far end of the lichen tunnel. Okay, so now this is the basic idea. So now improvements. Okay, so I'll just drink something. Okay, 54 minutes, I need to explain in a hurry. Okay, so the improvements, sorry, I'll just explain verbally because I don't have time. So, improvement 1, between the tunnels we can use tunnel ventilation pipes, like you see here, mining ventilation, how it's made. Okay, so I'll give you the link. So this is basically like that, like the barrels. Okay, so it's between the tunnels, and also between the tunnels here. Okay, so we can make one tunnel, we can make another tunnel, and connect them also with the ventilation, mining ventilation. It's an option, okay, it's like an improvement. Mining ventilation. It's like pipes. Okay, so you can see this in mining ventilation, how it's made in the link I give you on YouTube. Also, instead of digging two tunnels for the sinking process, upper and lower, we can dig only one tunnel and put two such pipes So instead of upper and lower, we can dig only one tunnel and put two such pipes, one over the other, which is easier but not as friendly to the environment. Okay, this is improvement 1. Improvement 2, the ratio of sinking tunnels. Okay, this is the sinking tunnels. And this is the lichen tunnel. Okay, so if we see that, I'll read it to you, it's easier. The ratio of the sinking tunnels to lichen tunnels doesn't have to be 1 to 1. If we see that one of them takes a longer time than the other, we can connect more tunnels from the slow kind to each one tunnel of the fast kind. Okay, so if let's say this takes a long time, then we can make several of these. I'm sorry, we take the slower one and we make several of the slow one. Okay, if this takes a long time, then we make several lichen tunnels connected to one sinking tunnel. Okay, so or vice versa. If this is a long time and this is very fast, then we make a few of these connected to one of these. Okay. Improvement 3. Okay, this is like if you want it on a large scale and easily. Antarctica also. Oh, I'm sorry. It's another thing. Not yet what I thought. Improvement 3, possible improvement 3. Antarctica has a very big under ice canyons. Okay, like the Grand Canyon, but really big. Not like the Grand Canyon, a lot bigger. Like as deep as 1/3 of Everest. Okay, like the height of Everest, so take 1/3, and this is how deep they are in the ice. So we can carve in, we don't need to build, just remove, like in Lalibela in Ethiopia or in Ellora in India, tunnels one on top of the other. Okay, so like if we have a canyon, okay, under ice canyon. Okay, so let's say it's this is the ice and here is a canyon. So we can carve here tunnels, okay? Many tunnels. This means we need to take care of light. The light comes from bundles of optical fibers that we lay along the tunnel that brings concentrated light, okay? Like light that we need here. We don't have a roof anymore. We cannot have transparent roof. So the light comes from okay, this is like the sun, and there is it gives light, and the light goes inside the transparent like a glass, fiberglass. Okay, so fiber optics, I'm sorry, optical fiber. Okay, so optical fiber. And it goes to all the tunnels that we need, or mirrors, but mirrors is more primitive. Okay, the light comes from bundles of optical fibers that we lay along the tunnel that bring concentrated light, which we gather like in a solar farm with mirrors pointing to one spot. Okay, so like there are mirrors here, and they are concentrated on one spot, let's say some tunnel, some tower, and this tower gets connected to the optical fibers, like in a solar farm. Okay, and then distribute along the tunnels. Okay, improvement 4. In the future, in order to make lots of tunnels close to the surface, not this solution and this solution, this method, maybe we can make use of a laser from space, like collecting solar energy in space and then beaming it down, like in the Russian project Znamya satellite. Okay, so it's basically a mirror in space. Okay, like Znamya satellite. You can see it in Wikipedia. Okay, it's Russian. They made the Znamya 2, and Znamya 2.5 failed, but was supposed to be also after this number 3. Okay, so I need to finish. I'm just saying that Elon Musk offered $100 million for such a solution. So this is my solution, but I don't want the money. I just want someone to do this, and my other projects, my other inventions also, and to save the earth. So I hope it was clear. This was my invention, and thank you very much. I'll see you in my next invention. Thank you.